Welcome to Saturday Sonia Talks. I'm Wrucha, and here on every Saturday we are we live? Okay. Welcome to Sonia Talks Saturday. Here on every Saturday we discuss the ancient Buddha's teaching and mapping into today's world. Help us, Dr. Rajesh Savera, with us. Welcome, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh, so every Saturday we study SANYUTTA NIKAAYA, which is part of PAALI TIPITAKA, and here our PAALI translation department help us to translate under the guidance of Dr. Lim Jin. Before we start our verses, which is the continuation from last Pratitya Samutpada, dependent origination, the Buddha Vagga, we will have our meditation, Sunya meditation, reverse countdown from 9 to 0. So, Doctor, we will continue
Yeah.
our Buddha Vagga SN 12.5. Now, here the content is same as that of previous suttas. So, this is this for Sikhi Buddha, and next one is for Vesabu Buddha, Kakusanda Buddha, and Konagamana Buddha, and then we have Kasapa, uh, and then lastly we have seventh one as Gautama Buddha. So today we are going to start reading the Pali text also. So
And
as
today,
in
Dr. Lim is also not joining us because he's traveling.
yeah,
So he will not be there. So it's only you and me today to
okay,
take them through this. I think we're doing SN 12.5, right? Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
doctor. So
Let's
as
start.
in 12.5 Sikhi Sutta. Sikhi bhikkhave bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa pe. Because Sikhi, the Bhagava, the Arhat, the Sama Sambuddha. Then in next one is SN 12.6 Doctor Vesabhu. Vesabhusa Bhikkhave Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhasa Pe. Here Pe means the text is same as that of previous sutta.
Okay.
Because Vesabhu, the Bhagava, the Arhat, the Sama Sambuddha. Then SN 12.7 Kakusanda. Kakusandasya Bhikkhave Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhasa Pe. Because Kakusanda, the Bhagava, the Arhant, the Sammasambuddha. SN 12.8 Konagamana. Konagamanasse bhikkhave bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa pe. Because Konagamana, the Bhagava, the Arhat, the Sammasambuddha. Then Kasapa 12.9 Kasapassa bhikkhave bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa pe. Because Kasapa, the Bhagava, the Arhat, the Sammasambuddha. Now, whole text is given in last Sutta Doctor, which is for Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. SN 12.10 Gautama Sutta. उभेव मे भिक्खवे संबोधा अनभिसंबुद्धस्य बोधिसत्त्वस्वेष सतो एतदोषि किच्छं वतायो लोको आपन्नो जायते च जीयति च मियति च चवति च उपपज्यति च अथ च पनिमस दुःखस्य निस्सरणं नप्पजानाति जरामरणस्य कुद्दासु नाम इमस्य दुःखस्य निस्सरणं पय्यायिसति जरामरणस्याते. Because before my awakening, while I was still an unawakened bodhisattva, This thought occurred to me. This world has fallen into difficulty. It is born, ages, dies, passes away, and is reborn. Yet it does not understand the escape from this dukkha, from aging and death. When will an escape from this suffering, from aging and death, be known? Are we okay? Okay. तस्य मह्यं भिक्कवे एतद्वसि किं हि नुको सति जरामरणं होति किं पच्चया जरामरणन्ति तस्य मह्यं भिक्कवे योनिसो मनसिकारा अहुपय्याय अभिसमयो जातीयाखो सति जरामरणं होति जातिपच्चया जरामरणन्ति then because it occurred to me when what exists does aging and death occur. What is the condition for aging and death? Then, through careful attention and wisdom, I understood. Doctor, this is main very famous phrase, Yoniso Manasikara. So that means careful attention and the wisdom. I understood. So this is inscribed well, and it has been written in many scripts in ancient stupas we visit.
Yoniso Manasikara.
Yeah, yeah. Through careful attention, that's the meaning. When there is birth, aging and death occur. Aging and death are conditioned by birth. तत्समयं भिक्कवे एतद्वसि किम्मीनुखो सती जाति होती पे भवो उपादानं तण्णा वेदना फस्सो सळायतनं नामरूपं वियानं संखारा होन्ति किंपच्चया संखाराति तत्समयं भिक्कवे योनिसो मनसिकारा अहु पय्याय अभिसमयो अविज्जाय को सती संखारा होन्ति अविज्जा पच्चया संखाराति then, because it occurred to me when what exists does birth occur existence, clinging, craving, feeling, contact, the six sense bases, name and form, consciousness, volitional formations. Last time we got the translation as actions. So, actions occur. What is the condition for volitional actions? Then, through careful attention and wisdom, I understood when there is avijja, ignorance, volitional actions occur. Volitional actions are conditioned by avijja, ignorance. Itihidam avijja pachaya sankara. Thus, with avijja as conditional, volitional action arise. Then again the cycle is explained, doctor, the forward cycling and reverse cycling of all 12 factors of dependent origination. Sankarapachaya viyanangpe. एवमेतस्य केवलस्य दुःखकन्दस्य समुदयो होति समुदयो समुदयोति खोमे भिक्कवे पुब्बे अननु सुत्तेषु धम्मेषु चक्षुं उत्पादि ज्ञानं उत्पादि पय्या उत्पादि विद्या उत्पादि आलोको उत्पादि with volitional action as condition consciousness arises and so on. Thus arises this whole mass of dukkha, arising. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, vision, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and light arose in me. तत्समयं भिक्कवे एतद्होसि किम्मिनुखो असति जरामरणं न होति किस्स निरोधा जरामरणनिरोधोति तत्समयं भिक्कवे योनिसो मनसिकारा अहुपय्याय अभिसमयो जातीयाखो असति जरामरणं न होति जाति निरोधा जरामरणनिरोधोति then because it occurred to me when what does not exist does aging and death not occur. With the cessation of what does aging and death cease. Then through careful attention and wisdom I understood when there is no birth, aging and death do not occur. With the cessation of birth, aging and death cease. तत्समयं भिक्कवे एतदोषि किम्निको असति जाति न होति पेभवो उपादानं तन्हा वेदना फस्सो सळायतनं नामरूपं वियानं संखारा न होन्ति किस्स निरोधा संखारा निरोधाति तत्समयं भिक्कवे योनिसो मनसिकारा अहुपय्याय अभिसमयो अविद्यायको असति संखारा न होन्ति अविद्या nirodha sankhara nirodhoti. Then because it occurred to me, when what does not exist, does birth not occur? Existence, clinging, craving, feeling, contact, the six sense bases, name and form, consciousness, volitional actions not occur. With the cessation of what do volitional actions cease? Then, through careful attention and wisdom, I understood when there is no avidya, volitional actions do not occur. With the cessation of ignorance, volitional actions cease. इति हिदं अविद्या निरोधा संखार निरोधा संखार निरोधा वियान निरोधोपे एवमेतस्य केवलस्य दुःखखण्डस्य निरोधो होति निरोधो निरोधो ति खोमे भिक्कवे पुब्बे अननुसुत्तेषु धम्मेषु चक्षुङ्गुदपादि ज्ञानङ्गुदपादि पय्या उदपादि विद्या उदपादि आलोको उदपादि. Thus, because with the cessation of avidya, volitional action ceases. With the cessation of volitional action, consciousness ceases, and so on. Thus ceases this whole mass of dukkha. Cessation, cessation. Thus, because in regard to things unheard before, vision, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and light arose in me. So, that was the end of the sutta, and we have a diagram also with us explaining the 12 factors and how it is correlated. So we can pull the diagram here, that will be great. Here we have seen the forward linkages of the 12 factors of dependent origination, as well as the reverse linkages. The forward linkages is for the arising, and reverse was for the cessation. So here in this diagram, if we see, the center is three poisons, doctor: moha, lobha, and dosa, delusion, attachment, and the aversion. And the second circle we are seeing is for sensual realms, and then followed by the outer circle as all the avidya, sankhara, consciousness, namrupa, salayatana, phassa, vedana, tanha, upadana, bhava, birth, and jara marana. So on the right side of this diagram, there are five panchaskanda also, including the rupa. We would like to know also, doctor, like why rupa is not considered as the 12 factors, or rupa has been considered as because here when we say first, uh, is it related with that? We would like to know from you, doctor. And then uh, on the left hand side, two views: the first and second, physical rebirth of conditioned consciousness with further states arising conditioned over time. And second view is that instantaneous mental arising and ceasing from moment to moment, which we see in our day to day life. That's what my understanding is. Please correct if I'm wrong. If you can please explain us this whole dukkha cycle is cessation and.
Yeah, but when you look at this cycle, and it's talking about how one thing leads to another thing, and another thing leads to another thing. So it's like the domino effect of life. And if there is ignorance at the base of the domino effect, then it will always lead to suffering. But if there is knowledge that leads to the domino effect, it's also happiness, you see. So rather than only calling it the cycle of dukkha, I would say if you realize it, it's the cycle of sukha also.
Wow,
Okay.
great.
Yeah. So when you look at it, it starts actually a circle, you never know where it starts.
Uh-huh.
So when you look at the circle,
Right.
where do you know where it starts?
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So it's already circle. They have been depicting in a circular manner. So I cannot say it's going to start from somewhere. Okay. So let's, for the understanding, we say it starts with avigya. But avigya also has to have something that needs to give it its avigya, right? Ignorance also has to have a base.
Okay.
because everything is interdependent, and
Yeah.
in a circle, if everything is interdependent, you cannot say this is the one who started it. So
Right.
you cannot pinpoint that one of that has started it.
Uh-huh.
So that's also a good thing on one side, because it means that you can break it from any side,
Uh-huh.
because you can break the circle
Okay.
at any point,
Right.
right? That means if there is a continuum
Uh-huh.
and you don't know which is the start of the continuum, you can actually break the circle from any side of it. So the liberation can come from any of these points.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now you look at avigya, ignorance. They start with ignorance, because that's where you can actually start working on, because gaining knowledge will change the whole flow of events.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now because you don't have knowledge, you are actually leading a life of conditioning. You don't know why this is happening to you, because people don't understand why they are poor, why they suffer from this illness, why two people coming together just keep on fighting, why this is happening, why that is happening. They don't have no idea. This no idea thing is nothing but ignorance, but there is definitely set of conditions that lead you to that particular event that is happening in your life. And hence your sanskara means your formations that will
Yeah.
happen. Whatever will happen is because there is an underlying not knowing to it, because of which you do not actually understand why this is happening, and you call that as dukkha, right? Then you move that dukkha takes birth. You see consciousness coming in, you start realizing it, because in pain and suffering the self thing is always higher, then you feel, oh, this is happening to me, that is happening in my life. The consciousness of that's you going through the suffering, you are the one who is in that pain, that happens. So consciousness follows all the conditional manifestation, that's sanskara. Then because of that, here comes nama rupa. Here, as you said, there is no rupa. Here it is already there. Nama rupa is rupa. Now here you are taking, because you have started to now, you don't know why this is happening. Maybe there are a lot of conditions that have made that happen. But now in me, that anger has already started to, boil within me. That's consciousness, means anger has been born, consciously started to come in. I know it is coming in, and then my namarupa start changing. I started, howling words, showing actions. So my behavior starts changing. So my mind and body is now in action. So now that has taken birth. Okay. Following that, my six senses start. You can see my six senses, including my mind, in a very different dynamic state. That is why the six senses have now been aroused because of namarupa, the trigger. Now because of six senses, now I am in contact with something. I will grab something, I'll do something, I will hold on to something. I am going to now get in touch with something. Maybe, I will hold on to that. Contact will always be there. Because of contact, there will be these feelings, okay, of vedana. Vedana means feeling of either liking it or disliking it. Okay, in anger, you might either, because this anger is born because of dislike, then you will start to push away
Push away.
things. Okay, that's also contact. Okay, means even if the person is far, you'll go there and you'll push that person there. It's that kind of thing. And you will want that, Vedana, that feeling to be expressed. With that feeling expressed, then even though the person is grown, that tanna and craving still continues. No, I'm going to see, the anger just doesn't fade away with the thing going away. Even with the Vedana, it still brews within itself. And that tanna and craving, the thirst still goes on. You'll find different ways of taking revenge. You'll find different ways of doing things. It doesn't stop. And that gives you to this habit of grasping. Okay, and then you want to hold on to that subject. Every time you're talking the same thing, you're doing the same thing, thinking about the same thing, you have now grasped it. Because of that, you have this feeling of, the bhava that comes in. Okay, that's your state. Now you are in a different state. Then people see you and say, what's happened to you? You look very different. No, 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 I'm this. You are already changed your bhava. Your
Okay.
nature has changed. You have become something. Now at that time you have taken birth. You have taken birth as, maybe a killer, maybe a revenger, maybe a new you has been born. Because of that, you will go through the whole process of Jaramaran. It will go through the whole process of it being there. You will go through that till the time that thing doesn't just die off. Okay, so it will die. And then again the cycle continues. Because you did all that, you will have 10 more people you would have triggered, your relationships getting spoiled with. Then your cycle just continues, and then come to a point in life where you say, I just don't know why my life is like that, because that's where the underlying ignorance still remains.
Ignorance.
Okay, so I'm just giving an example on psychological basis of anger, but this can be applied to us as human beings also. Like, we don't know why we are born. We don't know why this consciousness of ours, of human consciousness, of realizing and having this craving called I need to do this and all those things, the sense gratification, then the reason why we want to hold on to things, why we want to make choices of like and dislike, why we want to crave for something, why is it that we want to hold on to certain things and not hold on to certain things, then why we have this always feeling of trying to become something, and then in the whole process go through the whole suffering of trying to be somebody, be born, then again go through the whole process of aging. You build businesses with all the passion, you see the business grow, you see the business collapse, you see it die. So it can happen in everything. So this is not the cycle only of us as human beings, it's the cycle of everything that ever exists, because everything is interdependent on something or the other. So this is, you can say the domino effect of life. And I think this is very, very important. If people understand, then they will not be blaming any one thing or any one person for any situation. They will know there are 11 different reasons that have led to this particular event. Okay.
Right.
And then do not pinpoint that event and saying that is the only event that happened and it was happened separately from all other events. So it's like your relationship getting spoiled today would have its beginning long time back. Okay, it would be, the seeds were sown long time back. So even in relationships, when people are not doing well, it's not that it's just happened yesterday. Yesterday, this we fought and that happened. No, the fighting also would have been brewed from long time. So always there is a long-standing event and a sequence of
Causes.
events. That is why we call this final thing outcome as consequence, because it has been a sequence that has led you to that final destination. Okay,
Right.
yeah,
So it's all interdependence.
yeah.
When I see this wheel, it reminds me of Dhamma wheel also. So here, when we are saying that avijja has occurred, and avijja is the main thing which we can understand from this sutta. So how what's in man's control or person's control that he or she should focus on that one factor. If we have to choose one, which one we should choose?
Gioli told me that this is the most famous line, Yoniso
Manasikara.
Manasikara. I think that's the answer to your question. Through careful attention and wisdom, one can understand the whole sequence of events and then take care of himself. Change that sequence of events which were going against him, which was causing him dukkha, to be for him, to cause him the sukha. It's the choice that he makes. But that will happen only and only through Yonisi Manasoikara.
Okay, Doctor, we have got young audience in our studio, so maybe they are very smart, of course, and intelligent. But with one example, can you just go through all the 12 factors so that it will be very relatable for
What do you
them?
want?
The linkages of all the 12 factors and understanding it for our young
I think
audience.
I just explained it was all about them only, because it was all relationships. And it's all because youth is all about building relationships
Uh-huh.
and going through this emotional turmoil. So, like, anger for us today is still managed. But for a youth, it's still their identity. They are supposed to get angry. They are supposed to get frustrated. They are supposed to feel sad. They are supposed to go through that, because these are the emotions which will mature up to become their personality. Okay, so this is what is a cycle that youth goes through, which is visible. And that is why I use the example of relationship along with its real manifestation as human beings, and then we coming back again, and the birth and the death cycle doesn't seem to stop here, because everything seems to be a continuum, and continuum is dependent on the previous factors. So the factors I create today is going to shape my future. What I am now is because of my past. So the only opportunity to shape my future and to let go of my past is to work on the now. And
Yes.
if a youth understand this, and I think they understand it much better than everybody else, because youth are the ones who have this, thing called, they say they want to live only for this moment,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think they have got it right. And they are absolutely right. It's the society that thinks that they are wrong. But
Mm-hmm.
because they have got it right, it's always the youth that have changed the next generation. And they have led the mankind to the process of evolution. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we might go into re-evolution, but I think so that will just cause a lot of fights and conflict. But evolutionary species that the youth are, they will evolve us into super beings. And you
Mm.
see, I have firm faith in the youth, that youth are the ones who will understand this whole concept of cause and effect. And if we can take care of our youth and give them the opportunity to understand that you are a very important linkage, and that little domino right now, that's going to bring about the shift and the change of the world in the future. I think their role will be appreciated and their behavior will be accepted also in a good way.
Uh, well, looking at this diagram, doctor, this is cycle, and this is reminding me of the Machaka again, and it reminding me of the Machaka Pavatan Sutta. So there, when Buddha expounded this discourse, and there it has been written, now the Machaka wheel is rotating. Now we see this is the cycle continuously going on,
Yeah.
unless and until one realizes this, and that this is the arising and this is the cessation. And in our sutta also, the line has come that mm, in re- thus, because in regard to things unheard before, vision, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and light arose in me. So, when we say Dhammachakra is rotating, does one understand that, okay, this is how the world is working or this life
But
cycle is working?
understanding will not just get the things moving,
Uh-huh.
action does. So
Yeah.
when you look at your, suppose you're driving something
Mm.
and you're going downhill, because the slope is like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's conditioned, right?
Yeah.
So you're going downhill.
Mm.
You realize, why am I going down? Oh, maybe because that's how the conditions are said. It's so too slopey, and I'm not applying my brakes. I'm not, going in the right direction. I don't want to go down. I want to turn the course. I want to
Mm.
change. So at that time, when you realize and understand this, that the whole thing is conditional, you
Mm.
change yourself, take control of your vehicle.
Mm.
You might be able to turn it. You might be able to go in a different path to start climbing up with effort. Put in the
Mhm.
accelerator, go against the slope, and reach the top. So you see, at the end, when do you turn a wheel? When you take control of it, right? And that's what it is, that when you realize it and you start taking control of it and trying to act and putting in your best effort into acting on the understanding that you have now, that's where the real turning of the wheel happens.
It is of taking efforts. It is
Absolutely, absolutely.
putting on that energy
Yeah.
and taking efforts.
Yes.
Okay. So we have other diagram also, doctor. I am not, this is, I've
The
seen
wheel of
many
life. Yeah.
times, but it's difficult for me to understand. But just the central part, the three poisons, and I think so. There, I can see snake, I can see
A rooster and
rooster,
a
and
pig.
pig. So,
They symbolize, the pig symbolizes ignorance,
uh-huh.
the rooster symbolizes greed, and the
Mm-hmm.
snake symbolizes your jealousy, hatred, and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you look at the whole cycle of suffering revolves under these three poisons.
Uh-huh.
One who realizes these poisons and able to manage these three species, the snake, the rooster, and the pig,
Mm-hmm.
I think that person will be able to manage this wheel of life much better.
Do we have some guidelines like how we can manage snake, the jealousy?
You, no, you need to know the jealousy has to be managed by making sure that you appreciate people rather than
Uh-huh.
criticizing them and feeling bad about it. You should be feel good about them, and make yourself not jealous about somebody doing better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you should be happy that somebody is progressing.
Mm.
Maybe it can be a competition that you can have
Mm.
for somebody who's good, that so that you become good also.
Mm.
Then that's how you take. So they say always the best way to take care of the snake is to charm it. So you have a snake charmer, right? So
Yeah.
if you are jealous of somebody, go and charm that person with all of appreciation and all those things. I think that will take care of your snake within. Okay, then you have the rooster, the greedy one. So the greed is like the rooster keeps on feeding day, night, whatever it is. It just keeps on feeding, feeding. The greed within us wants more and more, more and more again. So you should know that that is something that is not going to stop. So how do you cage your bird at times? When do you release it? It's up to you. So you should know when to use greed as a factor of motivation to get work done, when to not use it so that it doesn't disturb the peace around. So I think every morning the rooster symbolizes us and tells us, get up, be greedy, let's go and work today. So I think that's a good
Stay
sign.
hungry,
Yeah.
stay foolish.
Yeah. So I think the morning wake up call given by the rooster is a uh, call for us to go up and do your duty, right? And the last one is the pig, is ignorance. We should understand that whatever it is, however it is, we try to work on ourselves. We think that we have got it all right, but ignorance is our inherent nature. We will always, like a pig, however clean it is, as soon as it sees shit around, it sees dirt around, it's going to go and spoil itself. So however we think that we have now achieved it, we've got better, trust me, there's no point, there's no day. The day you are away from the dharma, there is the day you are away from the sangha, the day you're away from the Buddha, you're again in the trap of ignorance for sure. Okay, and your breaking of panchashila is just going to happen now.
Oh, so be aware is the
Yeah, so I
main
like this word. What you said was
yoniso
Yoniso
manasikara.
Manasikara. Yoniso Manasikara is only through careful attention and wisdom one can understand when there is birth, aging, death. Okay, when there is when birth does not exist, when there is no death, when there is no uh, you know suffering. You will only understand through this with careful attention and wisdom. And for careful attention and wisdom, there's a practice called samatha vipassana. Samatha helps you to become careful, and vipassana helps you to gain the wisdom. And only this samatha and vipassana can help you to actually see through the whole mesh of life. From the mesh of life, if you can find yourself a path to liberate yourself, I think that is true liberation. That is nirvana.
Right, right, right. Thank you for your explanation, Doctor. So that was the end of Buddha Vagga, first chapter on Buddha. The summary goes like this: Desana Vibhanga Patipadacha Vipassi Sikhicha Vesavu Kakusando Konagamano Kasapo Mahasakya Chagotamoti. The teaching, Desana, analysis, Vibhanga, the practice, Patipada, followed by seven Buddhas, Vipassi, Sikhi, and Vesabhu, Kakusanda, Konagamana, Kassapa, and the Mahasakya Muni, Gautama. Then we are moving to next
I think we
Vagga
can take one
doctor.
more. Yeah, we can take one more.
Okay, so this section is dedicated on Ahara,
Mm-hmm.
the chapter on fuel. So, SN 12.11 Fuel Ahar Sutta. एवं मे सुतं एकं समयं भगवा सावत्यं विहरते जेतवने अनाथपिंडिकस्य आरामे. Thus have I heard. At one time the Bhagava was staying at Savatthi in Jetvan, Anathpindika's arama. चत्तारो मे भिक्कवे आहारा भूतानं वा सत्तानं ठितिया संभवेसिनं वा अनुगहाय कतमे चत्तारो कबळिकारो आहारो ओळारिको वा सुखुमो वा फस्सो द्वितीयो मनोसचेत मनोसचेतना ततिया वियानं चतुर्थं इमे को भिक्कवे चत्तारो आहारा भूतानं वा सत्तानं ठितिया संभवेसिनं वा अनुगहाय. Because there are these four kinds of ahara, nutriment, for the maintenance of beings that have come into existence or for the support of those seeking to come into existence. What are the four? Kabrikara ahara, physical food. Orarika or sukuma, coarse or fine. Phasa, contact, as the second. Mano sanchetana, mental volition, as the third. And vijnana, consciousness, as the fourth. These bhikkhus are the four kinds of nutriment for the maintenance of beings that have come into existence or for the support of those seeking to come into existence. This is a large passage, but just because Dr. Lim Eugene is not around us today, so we are just reading the Pali text. इमे भिकवे चत्तारो आहारा किन्निदाना किं समुदया किं जातिका किं पभवा इमे चत्तारो आहारा तन्ना निदाना तन्ना समुदया तन्ना जातिका तन्ना पभवा तन्ना चायं भिक्कवे किं निदाना किं समुदया किं जातिका किं पभवा तन्ना वेदना निदाना वेदना समुदया वेदना जातिका वेदना पभवा वेदना चायं भिक्कवे किं निदाना किं समुदया किं जाति किं जातिका किं पभवा वेदना फस्स निदाना फस्स समुदया फस्स जातिका फस्स पभवा फस्सो चायं भिक्कवे किं निदानो किं समुदयो किं जातिको किं पभवो फस्सो सळायतन निदानो सळायतन समुदयो सळायतन जातिको सळायतन पभवो सळायतनं भिक्कवे किं निदानं किं समुदयं किं जातिकं किं पभवं सळायतनं नामरूपं निदानं नामरूपसमुदयं नामरूपजातिकं नामरूपपभवं नामरूपं च इदं भिक्कवे किं निदानं किं समुदयं किं जातिकं किं पभवं नामरूपं वियाननिदानं वियानसमुदयं वियानजातिकं वियानपभवं वियानचिदं भिक्कवे किं निदानं किं समुदयं किं जातिकं किं पभवं वियानं संखारनिदानं संखारसमुदयं संखारजातिकं संखारपभवं संखाराचिमे भिक्कवे किं निदाना किं समुदया किं जातिका किं पभवा संखारा अविद्या निदाना अविद्या समुदया अविद्या जातिका अविद्या पभवा because what is the source of these four kinds of ahara, nutriment? What is their origin? From what are they jati born? From what are they produced? These four kinds of ahara, nutriment have tanha as their source, craving as their origin. They are born from craving, they are produced by craving. And this tanha, craving, because what is its source? What is its origin? From what is it jati born? From what is it produced? Tanha has Vedana, feeling as its source, Vedana as its origin, it is jati from Vedana and it is produced by Vedana. And this Vedana, because what is its source? Then again the 12 factors are coming into picture, doctor. From what what is it born? From what is it produced? Vedana has Fassa as its source, Fassa as its origin. It is born from Fassa and it is produced by contact. And this contact, because what is its source, what is its origin, and from what is it born, from what is it produced. First sir has Sarayatana, six sense spaces as its source, and then the cycle is continuing, doctor. First Salayasana has their source as Namarupa, then Then Namarupa has its source as consciousness, Vijnana. Then I'm moving forward,
Yeah.
and Vijnana has its Sankhara, volitional actions, and for volitional action, the source is, the origin is, and they are born and produced from the avidya. So this is the cycle. Itiko bhikkhave avidya pachaya sankhara. Thus, with avidya, ignorance as condition, sankhara, volitional actions arise. Sankhara pachaya viyanang pe evametassa kevalassa dukkakhandassa samudaya hoti. अविज्ञायत्वेव अशेष विराग निरोधा संखार निरोधो संखार निरोधा वियान निरोधो पे एवं एतस्य केवलस्य दुःखखंडस्य निरोधो होती थी. With sankhara, volitional actions as condition, vijnana, consciousness arises, and thus arises this whole mass of suffering. But with the complete fading away and cessation of avidya, sankhara, volitional actions cease, and with cessation of volitional actions, vijnana, consciousness ceases. Thus ceases this whole mass of dukkha. So that was the first sutta, doctor. The chapter began with the nutriment, and they have told about four kind of nutriment. We would like to know in detail, doctor, that they're talking about first is the physical food, then is the coarse or fine food, then third one is the contact food, and fourth one is the mano sanchetana, mental volition. So physical food we consume daily, like that's visible, pretty visible. So can you tell more regarding the coarse or fine and the contact as food and manosanchetana, mental volition as food, and then we have fourth is actually vijnana, consciousness as food.
Yeah.
So
So if you look at it, it's not just talking about this food, it's talking about the food for the senses. Okay, so we have these six senses
yeah,
who seek food.
okay.
Okay, the eye wants to see something, the ears want to hear something. Okay, so they want physical something. You cannot just show them illusory stuff. They want to actually see a picture. Then I want to see a picture, right? The ears want to hear a sound. Okay, so these are physical ahar. So that is physical ahar. Then you come is the contact. As soon as that happens, the food, the nutriment, then the ears want it, want to grasp it, want to hold on to it. See, if there is a very blurred sound which you're not able to hear, you will go and put your ears close to get a clear sound of it.
Right.
If you cannot see something very clearly, you go and you make an effort to see, adjust your glares, your specs or something, whatever. You want to have contact. So that's another food. Okay. Then your third one is mental volition. Means now once that food has been in contact, your mind starts actually now getting engaged, and now you have the mental food that is being created in it. Now if that thing is not there also, the mind will still feed on the experience that it had of seeing it or hearing it, and now it feeds on that food. That's a nutrient. It keeps on eating and eating and eating on that mental thing. And then the last one is consciousness.
Consciousness.
That means now that mind that was eating, and that identity, now that I remains there, that experience remains there, and that experience is that consciousness because of that. So mental eating and that identification of that experience into that memory is where it is always going to be consciously hidden inside your memory. So even though it is gone into your unconscious state, but it did go through consciousness, and then someday it will come back when you need it as a memory to be pulled back into an experience that you would like to have again. That is why your food is what nourishes it, and then your body keeps on craving for it again. You keep, the senses keep on craving for it again and again. If they like it, they want it. If they don't like it, they want to stay away from it. So then the whole thing, as you see, it follows. It begins with craving, okay, and craving then causes the feeling and everything. The cycle just doesn't stop.
Continue. So, it is reminding me of a song playing in a loop.
Yeah, yeah,
So when you are not feeling good, or to enhance your mood, you will play that tune or that
yeah,
song again and again.
yeah.
So
So here you have to understand cause and effect, but the conditions, they can change it, right? So effects are always changed if you can change certain things during the process of conditioning of the cause. So when you look at the cycle that we were studying right now, we were going here in the reverse order,
yeah,
right? We were going in the reverse order was because we were looking at the effect and then trying to find the cause of it. Then we're looking, okay, this is the cause, but what about this effect? How did, if this cause is the effect, what is the cause of this cause? So we go back, 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 and the underlying statement always is that it is born from ignorance. Okay, because we don't know. And once we know, we don't repeat the cycle. You understood? So I strongly believe the food is like a vehicle, you know. A vehicle needs food. What is its food? For example, the fuel that you
fuel.
put, right? Without that fuel, it cannot function.
Right.
So when you look at all this cycle, it is fed with these four foods. Yeah, the food of trying to have that physical contact, okay, then wanting to live with that mental contact that has already been there, and then living with that experience always. And that's what is your reason that you keep on being in the loop. But if you can take away the food, you can keep yourself starved of this food and or watch what you're eating. You can limit your food intake, That's what they're saying, you know. So if you can limit it to what is optimum, then these four foods which were supposed to harm you will be the one that will liberate you also.
Nourishing.
Yeah.
Nourishing. So is it applicable for nature also, doctor? Like trees and the
Yeah, so
universe,
it's
sun,
like
moon?
rather than watching a horror movie or seeing something horrible, watching at the nature or seeing the moon and the sun and feeling that how great that is, it's a good experience of seeing how insignificant we are in front of this great world around us. So it's a way you the choice is what are you going to feed yourself, right? You're going to feed yourself some fast food stuff and then become sick, or you're going to feed yourself some good stuff, nutrient that is going to make you healthy and keep you strong. So I think this is my perspective of looking at it, that these foods are basically what you eat, and what you eat is what you'll become, right? And this is something that gives birth to things, you know. This is where the whole cycle is fed. So the whole cycle of you can say the a wheel of life is fed by this. If one who knows to manage this fuel, he can manage the whole wheel of life.
There is famous saying like food for thought.
Yeah.
So maybe so this is not only physical food, and this sutta has broadened our
Yeah,
vision,
yeah, yeah.
and not only this, but we have four kinds of food that we know.
Right. I think that's it, and we can open the floor for questions because it's
Okay.
almost yeah time. Yeah, almost 10 minutes left now. So
Okay.
you can also ask questions, and we can ask and then we have a special ceremony also we have to do today.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Our special for the first time in our Sunya meditation studio, our first female youngest trainer will be certified as Red Belt certified trainer here in at studio at Palewadi. So we will have her ceremony. Before that, do we have some online questions? So we don't have any online
Any
questions.
questions here?
Anybody from studio?
Yeah. Ravi, yeah.
Yeah. Come forward, Ravi. Take mic also.
Take the mic, huh? So they will arrange.
I just want to know about what is different between ego and self-respect.
Okay. So the question is, what is the difference between ego, which is all modern terminology, okay, that is aham in Sanskrit, okay, and you're talking about is self-respect, is about other, or so one is it's only me and only me, you know, in everything. That's ego, okay. That ego, when you protect it, okay, without disturbing anybody, that's called self-respect. When you don't protect it and you let anybody and everybody destroy it and have that crumble down into anything, is called no self-respect. So it all begins when you respect somebody. That should begin with you respecting yourself, and you should know what kind of a personality you are, what eye you are. For example, if you're a king, you have an ego of being a king, and that's fine. But with that thing, if you start damaging and destroying other people and belittling people, that ego is considered as the bad ego. It's called a destructive ego. But this ego that tells you that you're a king, okay, but you do not go to that level that you don't feel like a king, because that will be worst for the people who believe that you're the king, right? So you need to know that you're the king. But what is self-respect is somebody comes from outside and belittles you and tells you, you get down, let me sit on your chair. And that is not accepted, because that's self-respect. Because you are a representative of so many different things, that because you saw that Pratitya Samutpad, that everything there is not because you make a choice, is because of a conditional manifestation of many things. So I think if one can understand that and respect that self of his that has been manifested due to conditioning without breaking the Panchashila, I think that is self-respect. Is it clear? Okay. Yeah, you have a question, yeah.
My question is that what is the main cause of this suffering, like ignorance or defilements? So,
Okay. So the question is, what is the main cause of suffering? Okay, is it ignorance or is it defilements? Or defilements, we could say all the wrongdoings that happen through us, right? All the shilas that we break, or is it? Now,
Or Three poisons.
Three poisons also could be the reason. Now, you see, at the end, those three poisons, if you look at it, one of that, the pig, is holding on to the rooster and the snake by
Snake.
the tail. So, among that three poison also, it's the pig, the ignorance, that's the basis of everything. Now, if one understands, there is no more suffering, there is no more suffering. If one doesn't know, then he suffers. So, it's knowledge that liberates. Okay, so for example, you are walking on a road and there are full of banana skins. Okay, banana peelings, skins, and you're walking and you're falling and you're falling and you're falling. You say, "What a world now! I'm living in a world where I just keep on falling every time I walk on the road. My life is full of suffering." Then somebody comes, "Hello," tells you, "Look down. These are banana skins. If you keep on putting a leg on this is slippery. It will fall. Why don't you walk in the area where there are no banana skins?" And you say, "Oh, is it possible?" And then you choose to let me try. And you walk on an area where there are no banana skins and you say, "Hey, I'm not falling." And that is the point where you have now liberated yourself and there is no more suffering. Is it clear? Or you still have a question here? Yeah.
So we have to consider that ignorance in itself is that
Yeah.
defilement.
Ignorance is the, you can say, the bowl in which suffering is served.
So I have another question. That
Yeah.
when the circle of it will be ending, that
When the
12,
circle of
yeah,
suffering will end,
that
I
will
think most beautiful thing about this circle is you should be, rather than ending the circle, you should be, you're tweaking it a little bit so that the dukkha becomes sukha. Okay, wherever there is ignorance, put in the knowledge, the cycle continues, but it will not give you the suffering. It will give you the happiness that you look at. So rather than going into a phase of destruction, go into a phase of construction. Use the same energy, like we say, the people, if you want to go from one shore to another shore and you see the waves moving here and there, and you know that it's not going to let any of the ship go there because you're going to throw away all the ships outside. But a wise man understands, no, if this is what it is, if this is the condition, I'll make a ship with the sail. Every time the wind blows, I will adjust it so that it will, every time it wants to throw, it will push me inside, 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 and I will navigate in the same sea with the same winds without using any fuel. I will be able to navigate wherever I want to go.
I have heard like that uh, the circle of that all those 12 na.
12
So
linked
that,
causes.
yeah, that those all of those are those are ending in that in at least in two birth. I think I have heard like that, like we must take the first word, two word, then only it will end. I've heard like other things that in three birds also we can experience, and then it will be end in three birds also. Yeah, I have heard like that. So I have no. Yeah, so I want to know that regarding this
So
also.
your question, if you have understood, is it that the three worlds,
Yeah, three bird.
three births?
Yeah, yeah.
What are the
In
three
the
births?
first means in first birth that causes you will earn those that karma and those na.
Okay, yeah,
So
correct.
and after that in second birth you will experience, and then it will end.
Yeah. That's
So
that's right. Absolutely right. You're right.
yeah, I've heard like this
No,
thing.
you're absolutely right. So when birth happens, because there were causes and there were conditions that helped that birth to happen, birth is going to only sustain till the point there are conditions for it to sustain. Then it will start to diminish. Then aging will follow. With aging, death will be the outcome of it. Now, if you have created enough conditions so that after death, the birth will come again. So the cycle just continues like this. Yeah?
Okay, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
We
So
have a
we
question.
have
Yeah.
one online question. So we will pull it up on the screen. Good morning, doctor. When you know that a particular person is full of three poisons within them, should we stay away from that person, or we should confront that person?
So technically, there is no person without those three poisons. Because if birth has happened, there has to be a base to this. These three are always there. What should you do? When you see a snake, should you run away from the snake? Should you run away from the pig? Should you run away from the rooster? No. You should know how to manage it. When you are aware of people and their three poisons, you should know that these three poisons not only harm the others, but it basically harms the person himself. Through true compassion, we go to the extent of using skillful means to help this person. That's where real karuna comes. So I believe when you can see and identify the three poisons in someone, I think that's a great skill that you have achieved. And if you can use that skill to help that person see the way you see it, going to the means and methods to help this person see that, I think that will be the greatest contribution, and that is the real karuna.
Yeah. So I think so. There are no questions, so we can go ahead with our ceremony. I invite our youngest female red belt certified trainer, Bhumi Batam, and we would like to felicitate her with the red belt certificate designed by Mr. Kevin. Uh, so congratulations, Bhumi.
Congratulations, Bhumi.
Artist.
So Bhumi now is a red belt certified trainer here and at the studio. Okay, so she was instrumental in conducting 2 days continuously of the classes. She went through the whole process of teaching them the pre-shunya exercises, the shunya whole method of red belt practice of reverse counting, and you were able to do a session. How much? Almost around 45 minutes. 45 minutes was a long time she did
That's the
that
great
on the second day.
achievement
So
at such a
congratulations and
young
wish you all the
age.
best
Yeah.
to use the path of shunya to help many more people who may need this path. Okay, so thank
So
you so much.
I can foresee, Doctor, there will be Sunya Youth Club,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
idea which we are aspiring
So
to.
Bhumi, you want to add something to how was your experience as a person being able to take it's on? I think so.
It's on, right?
Yeah.
So I think I met Rajesh uncle and I was a mess, but then he was always telling me that you should practice with me, and that I was like, no, I don't think so. क्या ही हो जाएगा? But then when I started coming to studio and everything changed, so I really recommend everyone in specifically in these times we really need these practices, meditations, and everything, and it just transforms your life in ways I never imagined I could do something like this. So I think everyone should definitely do these
How
practices.
was it being a guide to many more people and even many old people also coming and learning from you
Yeah. So
twice your thrice your
yeah,
age?
yeah. So even when I go home, I try to teach my mom, my dad, like, you should practice this. And I sit with them and they are learning. But when I teach someone who is older to me, like 20, 30 years, it makes me feel amazing. I feel like, oh, finally, I'm also contributing in ways to change people's life. So I being a intern psychologist, I feel this is my goal of my life to change people and help them be better or just guide them to be better in their life. So I think Sunya meditation is the best way to do that.
How do you think? Have you been to meditation before this, or Shunya was your first one?
No, I have been to a meditation center, but it was they used sound, and they didn't give me this count. They were like, just close your eyes, sit there,
Listen
keep
to
your
the
hands.
sound.
Yeah, and after a point, it got boring. I was talking to myself in my mind, but when I practice reverse counting, the thoughts come and they go. I don't think on them or I don't go in a conversation mode with it. So I think that is the main difference between what we practice and what other centers make you practice.
The one with the music, with the little
Yeah,
song is
yeah.
still easier, or the one doing reverse counting is easier?
So I think what's easy is not the right way. So the
So
other one,
effort.
yeah, you need effort. You should put effort in things you do. That's only when what you want will come. You'll get the outcome. So when I did that meditation with the sound, it was like I'm just sitting and I'm listening to music while I'm talking to myself. But when I do reverse counting, there is an effort. I have to put an effort, and the thoughts just come and pass.
Very good. Fantastic. So you can see Bhumi has been able to understand what are the nine no's, the five moralities, the Panchashil.
Yeah.
Then she finished the red belt whole program from pre-Shunya exercises to Shunya practice, and then post-Shunya exercises also. And she was able to give a good talk also. You can see now she's well versed with understanding the principles that help us, promote Shunya as a practice of well-being without any so-called tag of religion, okay, without any tag of, you can say, a cult, because we are not any of those. We are purely a mental school, a school that believes that a still mind can transform the world.
Pure experience, and I
Yeah,
must say everyone should experience this at least once in their life.
great. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Yeah. So, Doctor, before we go, would you like to give us a summary of today's session?
So today's session is the same continuation of what we have been doing now, Pratitya Samutpad. That means that everything is without a self, inherent self. It cannot be separated out. You cannot separate an event out of your life, saying that that is the event that is solely responsible for all other events in your life. You cannot say there is a individual out there who is responsible for all the things that have happened in your life. You cannot break something out of the chain and say this is the reason that the chain happened. Everything is interdependent, and there are multiple factors for the one thing to pop out. Okay, so I think if one understands this and then stops identifying himself as a separate self and seeing the others as separate self, that's where they will realize the true nature of everything, that is the Sambuddha nature of everything. And when he has this Sambuddha understanding and he sees everything as Samyak, he is on the path of Samyak Sambuddha.
Yeah. So that was the great session, Doctor. Thank you for joining with us. The end message I can see is the question also we got the three poisons and we which we can internalize ourselves and see it. But as Doctor has suggested, you charm the snake. So we need to utilize them to our own benefit, be truly selfish, not the selfish for the sake of being selfish. And main thing is that get knowledgeable and know it's not the self which we really map into in the happenings of ups and downs in our lives. We become so important, we make ourselves so important figure, but it's not us, but it's all the dependent conditionality out there. So with this understanding, I think so people will ace with their life and the suffering in their life, and they will definitely find a solution in their life. Thank you for joining with us. We thank you and extend our hands to PAALI department translation team here. Thanks for their hard work and effort, and we are grateful to give this opportunity to Dr. Raja Savera sir and Dr. Lim Seojin. Thank you. We will meet tomorrow 10 a.m. for Sunday Sunya Talk for Agamas.
Namaste.